Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday Problem Solving Challenge. Weekly one problem for your competitive exam preparation. So here we have a question on time and work. Without wasting any time, we can start solving this problem. And if you want to try, pause this video for some time, work it down and put your answer in comment section below without fail. So here we have the first question. A and B can do a work in 12 days while B and C can do it in 6.66 days. After A had worked on it for 3 days and B for 4 days, C finished the remaining work in 7 days. In how many days A alone can do the work? Usually in time and work, we will see individual efficiency and group efficiency problems. So here you have a question where the group efficiency is given and you want to calculate for the individual efficiency. So how can we solve? So let me show you how. So A and B can do a piece of work in 12 days. So A and B can do a piece of work in 12 days. Now B and C will do the work in 6.66 days. But 6.66 is quite difficult, right? So how can we represent this decimal number into a mixed fraction? So we can write 6.66 like this, 62 by 3 days. Right, so 6.66 is 62 by 3, right? For example, if it is given 6.5 days, so how we will write 6.5 days? So we will be writing as 6 1 by 2, right? Because 6.5, that is 1 by 2. Similarly, 0.66 is 2 by 3. Now again, we can convert this mixed fraction to improper fraction. So how can we do it? So 3 into 6, 18, 18 plus 2, 20. So we can simply write the 6.66 as 20 by 3 days. Because 20 by 3 gives 6.66, right? So B and C will complete the work in 20 by 3 days. Now, we don't know what is the total work. So how we will usually find the total work? We take the LCM of the given values, right? So to calculate the total work, see A and B completed a work in 12 days. B and C completed a work in 20 by 3 days. So what is the work? We don't know. So we have to find the total work by taking LCM of 12 and 20 by 3. You can take any value, but for safer side, to get a value without any decimal places or fractional part, we have to take LCM of the given two values. Now, what is LCM of 12 and 20 by 3? So 12 is nothing but 12 by 1, right? 12 by 1 or 12 both are same. See how to find LCM of a fraction. So we know how to find LCM of fraction. So it is nothing but LCM of numerator by HCF of denominator. So LCM of numerator and HCF of denominator gives LCM of a fraction. Now what is LCM of 12 and 20? See, we already discussed how to find LCM and HCF in our number system chapter. I will include that link in description. If you don't know how to take LCM, please watch it without fail. Okay. So what is LCM of 12 and 20? You get 60. And HCF of 1 and 3? It is 1. No relationship between 1 and 3. Both are prime numbers. It is 1. So what is 60 by 1? 60. So LCM of 12 by 1 and 20 by 3 is 60. So we have to assume the total work is 60 units. Now A and B completed that 60 units in 12 days. B and C completed that 60 units in 20 by 3 days. That means A and B will complete how many units in one day? In 60 days, in 12 days, if they complete 60 units, in one day A and B will complete how many units? 60 by 12? 5 units, right? A and B will complete 60 units in 12 days. That means in one day, A and B will complete 5 units. Now look at B and C. B and C will complete 60 units in 20 by 3 days. So in one day, B and C will complete how many units? So it is 60 by 2 by 3. That's right. So we can multiply this 2 by, 3 to numerator. So you get how much? Oh, it is 20, right? So it is 20 by 3. Okay. Now we can cancel this 3 into 3. How many units B and C will complete in one day? 9 units in one day. Now we know the group efficiency of E and B. E and B will complete 5 units in one day. B and C will complete 9 units in one day. Now what is given in the question? After A had worked on it for 3 days, B for 4 days, C finished the remaining work in 7 days. That means the people are working separately, right? So A worked for 3 days and B worked for 4 days. And C finished the remaining work in 7 days. So A totally worked for 3 days, then B worked for 4 days, then C worked for 7 days, and finally they completed 60 units. Now we know the group efficiency. We can't use any hit and trial error method, right? So for example, if we fix A could complete 3 units in 1 day, then B will complete 2 units because the total efficiency is 5 units, right? And B will complete 4 units in 1 day. C will complete 5 units in 1 day. So if you try this kind of hit and error method, it will consume much time. So we have to go as per the flow of question. Now A will complete a work in 3 days, right? Now look at this. A and B together will complete 5 units in 1 day. So I said 5 units per day. That means in 1 day, A and B will complete 5 units. Now A and B will complete 5 units in 1 day. Now see, in question it is given A will complete, A have worked for 3 days, right? So A have worked for 3 days. Now we know A and B will complete 5 units in 1 day. So in 3 days, A will complete how many units? So this A and B will complete how many units? So just multiply this by 3, 15 units, right? Now A and B could complete 15 units. So if A worked for 3 days and B worked for 3 days, totally 15 units get over, right? Now B also worked for 3 days. So we calculated here, B worked for 3 days, right? So if B worked, so out of 4 days, if B worked for 3 days, then B have to work for another 1 day, right? Now see, we know B and C together will complete 9 units in 1 day. We already calculated B worked for 3 days here. So A also worked for 3 days, B also worked for 3 days. Now B have to work for another 1 day to compensate this condition. Now B and C will complete how many units in 1 day? 9 units in 1 day. So if they work for 1 day, they will complete 9 units. Now A have worked for 3 days. B totally worked for 4 days, right? So B worked for 3 days here and B worked for 1 day here. So totally B worked for 4 days and A worked for 3 days. If they work like this, out of 60 units, they will complete how many units? 15 plus 9, 24 units they have completed, right? Now look at C. Now C already worked for 1 day, right? So C already worked for 1 day. Now C have to work for remaining 6 days. Now as per our question, they totally have to complete 60 units. Now what we found, A worked for 3 days here and B worked for 4 days, combining first equation and second equation, because B worked for 3 days and C worked for 1 day. I'm sorry, B worked for 3 days and B worked for 1 day. So totally it is 4 days. And in second equation, C also worked for 1 day. So out of 7 days, C worked for 1 day. Now C have to work for remaining 60 days, 6 days out of 7 days to complete how many units? So out of 60, already 24 units gone, right? So it is 60 minus 24. We have 36 units. So this 36 units need to be completed by C. Working how many days? 6 days. Now, C will complete these 36 units in 6 days. So in 1 day, C will complete how many units? So it is 36 units in 60. So in 1 day, C will complete 6 units. Now, I found efficiency of C is 6 units per day. So we have to think like this, right? So actually this question was little challenging when I looked this question for first time. So over a period of time, I understood the concept, right? So if you keep on practicing this kind of questions, you will understand like by looking the group efficiency question, how we can calculate the individual efficiency, right? Because actually we don't have any structure. So we have to think in examination. Now look at this. So what is C's efficiency? C's efficiency is 6 units per day. Now, my question is, in how many days A alone can do the whole work? So the whole work is 60 units, right? Now we know C's efficiency is 6 units per day. Now, if you look at the second equation, B and C together will complete 9 units. See, B and C together will complete 9 units. Now, out of that, C could complete how many units? C's efficiency is 6 units. Then B will complete how many units? 3 units. So 3 units per day is B's efficiency. Yes or no? Now, you want to find A's efficiency. You know, A and B together could complete 5 units in 1 day. Out of that, B could complete 3 units. So if A and B together could complete 5 units, and you know B complete 3 units per day, then A will complete how many units? So it is 5 minus 3, A will complete 2 units, 2 units per day. So this is efficiency of A. Now what is the question? In how many days A alone can do the whole work? Now, A will complete 60, A have to complete 60 units working 2 units per day. So it is 60 by 2. So it is how much you get? 60 by 2. So I write in a different color for your understanding. So 60 units have to be completed with efficiency 2 units per day. So in how many days this work will be done? 30 days. Answer for the question is 30 days. I believe you are clear with the concept, right? So when you have a group efficiency, and if you want to find the individual efficiency, you have to understand the analytical part of the problem. That is, what is the total work and what is the efficiency? Then only you could then only you could come up with the answer. So you need more practice on this kind of problems. And don't worry, I have a practice question for you, right? So if you understand this question, give a like and share it to your friends. And here you have the next challenge. And I'm not going to solve this week, right? So this question is for your practice. So try to solve this problem and put your answer in comment section below without fail. I will solve this problem by next week. Until that, stay connected.